Alright, this is the engine we started on engine night just to see if we can get it running, and ran into bigger problems than we thought we would have. This is a Briggs 5S, and Mike had started it and cleaned the points and everything, got a spark. It had no spark, but Mike was able to get a spark, and needs the valve seat here cut, and probably the gas tank. Since I'll be doing that, I'll probably clean the head and everything. Instead of just getting it running, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Not much though, just enough to put it back together. Instead of leaving it, because I don't see Mike for sometimes 3 weeks at a time, so instead of you know, put it in a box and putting it off to the side with a bunch of other projects. I got too many engines apart right now, so I'm going to put this together. And I was going to put this other gas tank on just to see if it runs, but I'll probably clean this one out and use the original one, clean the carburetor, do all that. So that's where we're at. Let me clean this bench up, and then we'll do something. Alright, I got the head over there soaking in some gasoline now. What I'm doing, I'm just getting rid of some of this carbon on the head here. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm trying to stay away from the edge here. I'm pushing it towards the center here, and that will keep as much stuff out of the crevice and away from the rings as we can. I'm going to hit it with a wire wheel. But you want to get the most of that off. And then I'll scrape this. I'm not worrying about anything going down there, because that goes right down to the chamber here. The tappets are in there, so that'll keep everything out of the oil and sump. And the only hole there is the vent hole, and I got a rag in there, so don't worry about this stuff getting into the engine. Alright, let me scrape the rest of this off, and then we'll wire wheel it. Alright, yeah, we got that pretty good with just a razor blade. Most of it was old gasket around here and stuff, so we just never took it off. So now we'll take some lacquer thinner, and just clean off the grease here, so when I wire wheel it, doesn't get grease all over the wire wheel. That way we'll get a better look at that. Alright, put your hearing protection on, your safety glasses, and let's go. Alright, that's pretty good. At least now I can get a better look and see what's going on here. Alright, yeah, we took you off the camera here so you can get a better look here. I'm going slow so it tries to focus. Maybe a little light help. That right there is probably creating a problem. But the whole thing itself, the whole seat itself. Actually, if we're using this engine for something, I would probably replace that seat. I think I have a spare. But for now, we're just going to cut this and get it running. Let me back up here. Put our little tool in here, our cutting tool. Let's say 45, 46 degrees. Alright. I'm going to put this back up on the tripod there and go get some cutting oil. Alright, got us some cutting oil here. Just gonna put it on the cutters here. I'm actually gonna put some one more thing there. I'm going to try and take the least off as possible. Take a look at it. Okay. I'm going to take you guys off of there and show you what we got, just in tiny little turns. Okay. Just with them 4 or 5 turns, you can see how well it cut. It's still a little buggered up over here. So I'm gonna take a couple more cuts with it. But that would probably actually work. But like I say, let me try and make it a little better, and we'll go from there. Alright, I'm gonna give it 3 more turns. 1, 2, 3. And what I'm going to do is just spin it lightly. It should clean it up. I'm hardly putting any pressure on it at all. Okay. Now, I'm going to give it a look-see. Alright, I brought you down again and take another look. 95% of the seat is perfect, but that one section there, it looks like I have a continuous line around there, and it would probably work, but I'm gonna try and make it a little better. Alright, yeah, I cut it as much as I could, or as much as I'm comfortable with, and it looks like I'm getting a seat all the way around, which is fine. And that looks pretty wide, because what I did is I actually turned this over. One side is 45, which is the main size, and then the other one is 31. And last time I did this, somebody told me that 31 is to cut the bottom, so you make that line a little thinner, so you get a better seal. So I did that. So I sort of undercut it, and that's why that looks so wide. You can't see it, but there's actually a nice sharp bevel there. So I'm pretty confident that it should work. Like I say, if we do use this engine for anything, you know, if we use it for one of our builds, I'll probably take that seat out and replace it, because it's pretty whooped. All right, well, I'm going to clean the valves up, and I'm going to have to adjust the one valve. So let me clean them up and see what we got. All right. Yeah, I cleaned the valves, and here's the intake. You know, and the intake looks pretty good. Not perfect, but I mean good enough to run. But the exhaust is pretty pitted. See, we're using this engine. I'll give this to Mike and give it to him to take home. He actually has a valve grinder. You know, that grinds these to the right angle and stuff. That's that right there. If we have any problem, it'll be right there. So I'm going to put these in there and lap them. It's in the book there. It says when you cut these seats, you really don't have to lap them, but they're probably talking about a brand new valve and stuff. But I'm going to lap these to make sure they seat. So, all right, let me get some lapping compound out. Okay, I brought you down here with me. I'm checking the gap. This is the intake. I have a plate from one of the other engines. Let me see. You can see that. Yeah, but anyway, and it has the clearances here. 15 thousandths for the exhaust and 8 thousandths for the intake. So right now I'm at 4 thousandths, and it's tight. You see that? It won't go in there. If I let it in there, I can actually pinch it and can't bring it out. I don't have a 3 on here, 3/1000ths, but I have a 2/1000ths. So a 2/1000ths fits in there, and it's loose. So it's about 3/1000ths. So we have to adjust that, and you can't see the exhaust valve over here, but I have to trim that down before I can even try to adjust it. All right, let me do that. All right. This is why I always let Mike do this, because I lucked out. I got a tight 8 at the first shot. You're supposed to sneak up on it, you know, take 1/1000th off at a time and then come up on it. So if I put another half a second on the machine over there, it would have ruined it. So that's 8/1000ths. Okay, so the intake is good. Now, like I say, I can't adjust this yet because it's hitting the tablet, so I got to take something off and then come back, and we'll see how much we got to take off. All right, yeah, I figured I'd bring you over here, show you our setup for cutting the end of the valve off. We got a block of aluminum here with a hole in there, and the hole is the same size as the valve, so it fits in there pretty good. And then we got a V block, a little tiny V block. And then just this here that goes in the machine, keep it square. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Most people just go over to a thing and hold it up and do that and think they're going to get it square. It never gets square. You know, this is the best setup I've ever seen anybody have, really. I know somebody else got a better one out there, but this is the only one I've ever seen that's pretty decent. So let's take a little bit off. Let me go check that. Alright, this one's supposed to be 15/1000ths, and I'm not even getting any clearance yet, so I'll take a little more off and we'll see how we're doing. Alright, we have a tight 14/1000ths over there, so if I get a loose 14, I'll be happy. Make sure it's square too. Before I wasn't worrying about it too much. It don't take much. Alright, it's got to be 15/1000ths, and I don't have it at 14 and 16. So we'll check this. Here's 14. Got a loose 14, and 16 won't go in there. So I'm gonna call that good. Alright, let's do some lapping. Alright, got our coarse lapping compound here. And I know I've told you guys this before, but you got to make sure you get this Briggs and Stratton stuff or it won't work. Alright, we got our little valve stuck on our suction cup here. Now I'm just going to put a little coarse stuff on here. I want to try to get on that valve stem. I got a little sloppy there. I'm sorry. I got a little sloppy. It happens. Okay, make sure your tappet's all the way down. You hear it cutting and then it gets quiet. That's what you do. You do this and it brings all the grit back up to the top there. I don't know why we're rocking and rolling here. Oh well. Alright, let me clean that off and see what it looks like. Alright, we sort of lucked out here. That line should be down a little further, like in the center of that, but it's actually all the way up to the top. But that actually worked to my benefit because that's where all the pits are lower than that. So from the looks of it, we got a line, a nice line all the way around. Same with the head here, so the block, or I should say the seat. So I'm going to just use some fine compound and call it done. I think it'll work. I wouldn't say it would work if this was working on the machine. I wouldn't think it would work a whole long time, but it would work. Alright, this here's the fine. Shouldn't take too much. I don't know why it's rocking and rolling like that. It's starting to bother me. Something must be under it. Okay. Alright. We're going to call that done. But I always show this for my new subscribers. I don't know if you can see the price on that right there. The glare. It actually says $2.85. Shows you how long I had that. I think I've had this since the 70s. That's how long that stuff lasts. Now I think that can is probably 20. I think it's about 25 hours. 18 to 25 hours I've seen them. Alright, let me clean that up and see what it looks like. And then I'll do this other one. You don't have to see me do the other one. You know how I do it because I did this one. Alright, got the valves back in. They seem to be working okay. And put the PVC valve in there. So that's okay. I guess the next thing is we'll put this goes this way. It's just to keep the slop in there. And then we'll put the cover on. Alright, oh shoot. I almost cursed. Got to make a gasket for it. You know what? I think I might have a spare hanging up over there. Let me see if I can find it. Alright. Yeah, we had a gasket hanging on the wall there, so I didn't have to make one. Let me just put this up here like this. I squirted some oil and everything, so should be okay. I don't know why I had so much trouble with these nuts when they're on camera. Wrong way. Alright. Got the valves done. We really squirted a lot of oil in there. Alright, I guess next thing I'll do is I'll clean the head. Then we can put the head back on. Good idea. Alright, the head cleaned up pretty good. It looks rough and everything, but this is a casting up here. And down here's a different story, you know, that's from exhaust. But up here's, that's the way it's supposed to be. Alright. Yeah, we put oil in the cylinder. Maybe a little too much, huh? Yay. We don't need that much. There we go. Alright. I'm going to put the head back on. And then, did I just do that right? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to put the head back on and then the shroud. And then all we got to worry about is cleaning the gas tank and the carburetor. Alright. We took the carburetor off. And it is binding up a little bit. It only goes to there and stops. So we'll have to take it off. I think this might be on backwards this here, that link. But we'll look it over. And the tank don't look bad at all, really. Got my flashlight here. I don't think you guys will be able to see. There you go. You know, I mean, it's dirty and has a little surface rust, but not bad at all, really. So I think maybe I'll stick some lacquer thinner or fuel in there or something, and a bunch of my square nuts, and shake it around a little bit. Alright, let me take this apart, see what's going on here. Alright, we cleaned the car up, got it moving, and it did have a clogged jet. We cleaned that out. Used our little wheel and torch tip cleaners here. Yeah, these things come in handy. I'll leave a link in the description there for you guys. I know you always ask me about that. Just bent it. Alright, let's get to cleaning this tank, and then we'll put it together and try and start it. Alright, 15 minutes of shaking. Let's see what it did. Wow, there weren't even that many nuts in there. Guess I could probably count them nuts. If there is, let me get some air. I didn't put no lubricant in there. I didn't put any gasoline in there or anything. Okay, watch your eyes. Wow, a lot of dust. Let me get a better blowgun. Alright, got another blowgun here. Got a longer nozzle on it. Let's see what happens here. Whoa, whoa. Got it all over me. Alright, let's look inside there. Oh, wow. I'm impressed. Let's see if I can, there you go. Can you guys see that? It might not be in focus, but looks pretty clean. Even in here. Can you see that around the light? Yeah, I'm impressed. I think maybe I'll just put a little bit of gasoline in there and swish it around. Get the dust out. And we'll call that done. It's a nice tank. I thought there was a dent in it, but there's not. You know, I guess that's just the way it is when they crush these together, you know, in the factory. Very nice. Oh, there's a dent. Oh well. It's on the bottom where you can't see it. Alright, I'm going to switch this out with a little gas and we'll put everything back together and we're going to start it. I'm going to try and start it. Alright, I brought it out here to start, and here's where we're at. I pulled on it for a little while with the string, and I shouldn't, because you know I got a torn rotator cuff and I shouldn't mess with that, so I'll be sorry tomorrow. But anyway, then I went and got the drill because it wasn't starting, and you know it really doesn't have that much compression. I thought it would have enough to start. You know, you can hear it. You know, and it has a little bit, but you shouldn't be able to spin it with your hand like that. So I would call this a fail, but we know why. I mean, we couldn't start it because it, you know, it has a bad seat, but we'll try it for you anyway. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. So I have a seat. Here's what a seat looks like. You know, you pop that other ring out there, and then you can make your own. And I have another valve, but I'm not going to do it. You know, I mean, we just took this up to see if we get started, and we had no plans for it. We'll probably use it on another project, but that's where we're at. And since I know that the seat is bad and the valve is bad, it's because we cut it to adjust it. Maybe I'll just go and I'll dig and keep going until I get some good meat, and then cut the valve some more, and maybe we can get that valve to work. And I have nothing to lose now on it, but that's where we're at. You know, if I have time and feel like playing with it, I'll do it. But other than that, it may just go on the shelf till we need this engine. So that's where we're at. At least we tried, right? Will it run? No, not unless you fix that. But you have spark, got fuel. It's, you know, it's sucking up and everything. Just no compression. Not enough to do anything. Like I say, it's a shame because sometimes these don't need much compression at all, but apparently this one does. So that's where we're at. All right, well, Doug, thanks for this engine. It is a good engine. It just needs the valve seat. So that's where we're at. All right, enough of this. All right, yeah, we got nothing else to do, so it's like 2 in the morning over there, I think. Is it that? There it is. Yeah, 1:45. So I'm gonna take his tank off, take the head off, take that valve out, and then bring it over here to the little baby lathe and try and cut that valve. You know, I got nothing to lose. I mean, it's already shot, so I'll cut that valve and then just keep cutting the seat until I get some good meat. I know it's not the right way to do it, but we're gonna see if we get it running. All right, we threw the valve in a lathe here, and I didn't even try to adjust anything. I just took the head here and turned it and lined it up with everything, and I don't even know I don't know if that's a 45 or a 46, but we're just going to touch it just to try and get rid of some of them holes and see if it works. I know it's not how you're supposed to do it, but right? What we got to lose? Alright, let's take it out here. Watch your sleeves. Watch your sleeves. I'm going to take it out of there and we'll take a look at it. Alright, yeah, that's pretty acceptable. You know, I got a nice thick thing there without, you know, there's some of the potholes, but I got a nice smooth edge there. And I didn't cut into the top of the head, which I didn't want to do, you know, to the very top. So yeah, I guess you're not supposed to put it on a lathe because it's probably supposed to be hardened, but it's hardened. It's not hardened very much. So let's dig into this and see what we can do with that. All right, I did a little more cutting, more than I really feel comfortable with. But like I said, we got nothing to lose at this point, and the rest of it's pretty good. The rest of it I like, but you know, the more I dig down, it just keeps hitting more holes. But I'm at a point now where it looks pretty good. So we'll try it. Let's lap it and give it a go. But before we lap it, we gotta trim the bottom of this and adjust it. So I'm gonna go over there. You don't have to see me do that. You already seen that, right? All right. All right. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a good constant ring around the whole thing. So I'm gonna put it back in. We'll put it back together and see if it works. Yeah, if that don't work, then I don't know. We might be pissing up the wrong tree here. Maybe I'll have to take the piston out and check to see if the rings are collapsed or something. You know, stuck from sitting. We'll see. All right, we'll put this back together and see if we can start it. All right, yeah, it's all back together, and gonna have to wait till the morning to start it, because worked on it about an hour. It's 3:30 now, so we'll take it out in the morning and see if it runs. All right, it's about 10 a.m. so I shouldn't wake anybody up. So we got here. Oh, I heard a pop. Didn't expect it to run on one pull. Maybe I'll give it a little more ass. Go. Does run. Get you guys off of here. Alright, so it does run. Seems to run pretty good, so it is blowing a little oil. I don't have a kill switch. It looked like it was blowing a little oil, so I guess that's a little that's some of the reason. Probably needs rings. Although the compression is a little better. But still, here you go. I'm hitting the compression stroke right there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one of the rings is collapsed or stuck from being sitting so long. But well, at least it runs. At least we got it running. Alright, yeah, I mean, I'm not happy with what we did with the valve, but, you know, it's working now. And if we did use this engine for something, I would, I'd replace that seat. But, good little running engine, so, here we go. It will run. Alright, it's probably going to be a long one, but enough of this.